आपका म्यूट है पवन जी, आवाज नहीं आ रहा है।
सॉरी सर सर। नमस्कार, स्वागतम, welcome. I would like to welcome you all on behalf of Independent Research Ethics Society, Imami, Jhandu, Vishwa Ayurved Parsad, and Ayush Darpan Foundation from India. I would like to welcome experts from UK, Canada, and Bangladesh. Dr. Rosemary Calvert with from Canada, Dr. Verma ji is with us. Dr. Nitin ji, my senior in Jamnagar, he is also with us. After a long time, after 32 years, I am seeing him. Really glad to see you all here on this dais. And Dr. Sekat Vasu, man instrumental and my friend from Canada. At present, he is in India. So Alok Sharma ji is also there. Ex-Director, Central Research Institute, Dr. Jairam Hajra ji, he is also with us. So I would like to welcome, including Jayesh Thakkar, Samadur Rahman, and Lokesh Joshi from Indore. Independent Research Ethics Society is now reaching at the milestone of 190. Today is our 190th webinar. Within these 14 months only, and we have been able to conduct this series due to your valuable guidance, support, and patronage. Really, I am very much grateful to my seniors like Thangvelu ji, Vishnu Prasad Sharma ji, who are guiding me from long, and I hope forever until my last breath, because we have taken a oath that our Ayurveda is not meant for one day only, which is to be celebrated on every Ayurveda day on Dhanvantari Jayanti. Our fate should not be there as limited to this. But we have decided to celebrate every day with Ayurveda, which is celebrated by UNO, WHO, international and national bodies. Like on Hepatitis Day, we conduct Ayurveda protector of liver. And just sake of example, Handloom Day, which cannot be related with the Ayurveda, but that is also have relation with the Ayurveda. Natural cloths with herbal touch, because various innovators have developed cloths also, Ayurvedic cloths also. On Photography Day, Ayurveda rare and best photography. Like this, we have on Sanskrit Day, Sanskrit, mother language of shloka recitation. So our journey is moving ahead very quietly, calmly, and spreading positivity with guidance of our seniors. I salute to every senior who has guided me in this long journey. And now we are planning to invite Central Health Minister of India for our 200th webinar. If your well wishes are with us, definitely we will be able to call Central Health Minister in our program on 200th webinar on World Sanskrit Day, the Sanskrit mother language for recitation. So this was the brief about our upcoming webinar. We have started GCP series also, Good Clinical Practices series, for benefit of executives working in clinical research field, postgraduate students, and other relevant field workers and students who are having the knowledge, but unfortunately they are not able to implement ideas in clinical research. This globalized series is now on fifth step. First we did for USA, second for UK, where 12 speakers were there, then for New Zealand, then for Australia yesterday, and now today is Canada. I would like to request all the expert speakers to bless me as a resource person, I would like to cover minimum 50 countries in the world initially at a stretch within a month or two. So please guide me if you have any contact, any resources in different countries. So we will be able to compile opinion from all experts from the globe, and we will definitely proceeding to continue this journey forever up till and until and unless you will desire, until and unless you will bless us. Thank you. नवीन जी नमस्कार. आयुष दर्पण के फाउंडर नवीन जोशी जी को मेरा नमस्कार. So now I would like to start the program with our inaugural speech of Vaidya Harish Kumar Sharma ji, President of Canadian Ayurvedic Practitioner Association. He is also founder of Canadian College of Ayurveda and Yoga in Ontario, Canada, and president of Best Ayurveda Limited, Canada. Vaidya Harish Kumar Verma ji is BAMS from Guru Nanak Dev University, Amritsar, and awarded gold medal in studies. He has been member of governing body of National Institute of Ayurveda, Jaipur, member of faculty and board of Ayurvedic Unani System of Medicine, Punjab. He lectured extensively in UK to the general public, doctors, universities and hospitals on Ayurveda. He was on the faculty of the honours program in Ayurveda at Thames Valley University in London, and is author of a comprehensive book of Ayurvedic medicine and secrets of Ayurveda. So we are very much blessed. We are very much fortunate that a dignitary from Canada is with us. And now I would like to welcome Dr. Harish Verma ji, Vaidya Harish Verma ji, to bless us with his inaugural speech. Dr. Harish Verma ji.
डॉक्टर साहब आप अनम्यूट है. हेलो.
Thank you, Dr. Pavanji, and thank you, Dr. Madanji, and namaskar to all the members. Namaskar, Naveenji. Namaskar, Nitinji. Namaskar to all members. Today, I have been given topic of scope and practice of Ayurveda in Canada. I will share my presentation and then we'll start the work. So there are 5 sectors where we can search the scope of Ayurveda. Ayurveda clinic and consultation, Ayurveda education, Ayurveda spa industry, Ayurveda herbal extracts, and Ayurveda herbs and supplements. Herbal extracts and natural health products are regulated by Health Canada.
Ji, I think we have lost Harish ji.
Yeah. So let us start with what is Ayurveda. Ayurveda is a traditional system of medicine. It is no traditional system of medicine, which was documented in Sanskrit around 5,000 years ago and is often referred to as mother of all healing sciences. Today, there are around 500 colleges of Ayush in India, which are granting admission to graduate BMS, postgraduate MD, and doctorate PhD programs in Ayurveda. Ayurveda is widely practiced in India and Sri Lanka as a government recognized and regulated healthcare system. WHO also recognizes Ayurveda as a traditional and complementary system of medicine. Ayurveda is not just a way of life, as other people say. Ayurveda is a way of life, or Ayurveda is just a life. We can learn lifestyles and dietary uh, regimen. It's not that. It's a complete medical system. We'll talk. Now, why do people turn to Ayurvedic treatment? Many patients suffering from chronic diseases are dissatisfied today from the results of allopathic drugs. As they stop the medication, the disease usually relapse. Allopathic medicines cause a lot of side effects. We are aware of it on long-term use. Allopathic drugs, especially new drugs, especially new generation allopathic drugs like biological drugs. Today, the treatment of rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, ulcerative colitis, all autoimmune diseases, it is going to be very expensive. All the new generation medicines like biological medicines, infliximab, Remicade, Humira, all these brands, they are very expensive. $4,000 to $5,000 per month is the cost of treatment to the patient, and medicines has to be given for whole life according to allopathic system. So it is becoming unaffordable for a common man. Now, the topic is scope of Ayurveda. I have found 5 sectors where we can, where the person can make his career or her career. Like particularly in Canada, Ayurveda clinic and consultation is one sector. Ayurveda education is another sector. Ayurveda spa industry is third. Ayurveda herbal extracts is the fourth one. And Ayurveda supplements and the Ayurveda herbs are the fifth one. Herbal extracts and natural health products are regulated by Health Canada. Health Canada is the regulatory body in Canada, like FDA in US, like Ayush in India, MCA in UK, TGA in Australia. So in Canada, Health Canada is the regulatory body which regulates all the healthcare systems. It's a federal body. But federal body makes the policies, then province-wise, health is always a provincial matter. I live in Ontario, and the regulatory body which regulates the health profession in Ontario is the Health Professions Regulatory Advisory Council, which was established under Regulated Health Profession Act 1991, RHPA, with a statutory duty to advise the Minister on Health Professions regulatory matter in Ontario. So in Ontario, there is a Regulated Health Professions Act. This is very important. I'll come to the point. So we will move point wise. First, let us talk about scope of Ayurveda practice in Canada. Ayurveda practitioners are partially recognized by the federal government. If you look at, there is a National Occupation Code 3232, which is practitioners of natural healing. Under this code, the federal government or the Canadian government recognize Ayurveda practitioner. We can see on third Ayurveda practitioner, acupuncturist, aromatherapist, Ayurveda practitioner, herbalist, homeopathist. They all are covered under practitioners of natural healing. So there are two governments, federal government and the provincial government. The practice of Ayurveda has to be regulated by provincial government, but federal government makes the policies. So they recognize Ayurveda practitioner, and this NOC code is available on the net 3232, where it is all written practitioners of natural healing. In Ontario, there are 30 healthcare professions which are regulated by the provincial government in Canada, in Ontario. All these like audiologists, chiropractors, dental hygienists, dentist, dietitian, and 9th is homeopaths. Homeopaths are regulated in Ontario. Then massage therapists, then the midwives, naturopaths, nurses, occupational therapists, pharmacists, pharmacy technicians, physicians, psychologists, and the traditional Chinese medicine and acupuncturists. They all are regulated. Their practice is regulated in Canada or in Ontario. Province-wise, it is regulated in all the provinces of Canada. Last year, I approached the healthcare authorities for the regulation. I went there, I went to them and I asked them, how can we get Ayurveda regulated? They gave me the document, and their document shows there's a primary criteria to regulate health profession in Ontario. The primary criteria assesses whether health profession seeking regulation under RHPA poses a risk of harm to the health and safety of public. And it is otherwise in public interest that the particular profession is regulated under RHPA. The applicant must demonstrate with the evidence that there is a risk of harm to the public. When I went to meet the officers in health industry, they asked me, why should we regulate Ayurveda practice in Ontario? What are the risks? And it was very tedious question to me. If we say there is a risk of heavy metal, this, that, then they may say, oh, then we should ban it. So it was very tedious question. And still, we are working on it. It was very hard. And so this was the point which came to my knowledge. However, Ayurveda is not regulated, Ayurveda practice is not regulated in Canada. The healthcare officers, they asked me, who is stopping you to practice in Canada? You can practice, just follow the rules. Then I studied some rules. In Canada, as I mentioned, the products and the herbal extracts, they are regulated by Health Canada. I'll come on to that point. But before that, let us talk about the second point, scope of Ayurveda in Ayurveda education in Canada. Education is regulated in Canada or in Ontario by Ministry of Training, Colleges and Universities. MTCU is the ministry which regulates the education. And they have a Private Career College Act. That act covers 4 main areas: registration and student protection, quality and accountability, training completion assurance fund, and compliance. If anybody has to start a college, they have to take permission from MTCU. But in Private Career College Act, if you look at the NOC number 3232, practitioners of healing, natural healing, this code is exempted. That is the reason many colleges are mushrooming in Canada. It is exempted from PCC, Private Career College Act. So that is the reason there is no control. That is the reason some people are offering 20 hours program to become an Ayurveda practitioner. Some people are offering 500-hour program. Some are offering 2-year program, and some are offering 3-year program. There is no regulation. I am in touch with Ayush Ministry. I had several meetings with Dr. Manoj Nesri and Dr. Kotecha ji, and I made them aware, but they said it is not under their jurisdiction. So we are trying through High Commissioner of India in Canada and Consulate General of Consul General of India in Toronto. We are trying to get regulated, but it is very hard. But once it will be regulated, then there will be standardization of the education also. But right now, it is exempted under PCC Act. Then scope of massage therapy in Canada or the spa industry, Shirodhara and other Ayurvedic massage. Let me clarify. Nobody can run massage business in Canada as Ayurvedic massage therapy, because massage therapy is a regulated profession in Canada. If you look at number 11, massage therapists are regulated. Only registered massage therapists are allowed to give massage therapy. And there is a college of massage therapy therapists in Ontario which regulate the massage therapists and protecting the public's interest, guiding its registrants and promoting the highest possible quality of practice of massage therapy. So it's a regulated profession. Many Ayurvedic doctors who are BMS, even MD in Ayurveda, they have done 2-year massage therapy course. Now they are practicing massage therapy, but still they cannot say they are practicing Ayurvedic massage therapy, because this does not come under their scope of practice of RMT. If they will say, if any registered massage therapist will say, I'm doing Ayurvedic massage Abhyangam, that will not be covered under RMT, and there will not be any reimbursement of the funds, because that is not in their scope of practice. Now the scope of herbs, supplements, herbal extracts in Canada. Natural health products, like in US, all the herbal products are covered under dietary supplements. In various countries like in UK, Europe, generally they call food supplements. And in Canada, these products are called as natural health products. And there is a number given by Health Canada, it is called NPN, Natural Product Number. These are licensed products which are sold over the counter and do not need any prescription to sell. So all the herbal products, whether it is Trefla, whether it is curcumin, whether it is Trikatu, whether it is Ashwagandha, Karela, Neem, Tulsi, Shatavari, all are called natural health products. And natural health products, they are also covering probiotics, herbal remedies, vitamins and minerals, homeopathic medicines, and traditional medicines such as traditional Chinese medicines. But now they are also covering Ayurvedic medicines. If you look at the Health Canada website, Ayurvedic pharmacopoeia is mentioned in their website. And some books are also mentioned which are in Schedule 1 of Drugs and Cosmetic Act in India. And there is a one Ayurvedic doctor, full-time job in Health Canada, who is giving knowledge of Ayurveda to the Health Canada authorities. I forgot the name, Dr. Nitinji may tell her name, and she's full-time employee of Health Canada. So Health Canada is progressing in Ayurvedic field. Health Canada policy regarding natural health products, like how the natural health products, what are the licensing requirements in Canada, what are the adverse reaction reporting system. This all is available on Health Canada website. There is a guide, natural health products management of application policy. This booklet is also available on the net. And what are how the clinical trials can be conducted, and related advisories, warnings, recall, all are available on the net. And there are around more than 1,000 companies which are producing natural health products, and many of them are Ayurveda based. Many single herb products are available because these products are regulated. Because as we listen daily that there should not be any metal in the product, there should not be any heavy metal like mercury, lead, arsenic, cadmium in the medicine. It is because it is regulated by Health Canada. There should not be any pesticide, there should not be any chemical preservatives in health products. All these are uh, covered by Health Canada. So regulation for the products is already there, but regulation for practice and education are still not there. We are trying for that. So this is all about, because I have been told that there's a time constraint. So this is all about uh, the scope of Ayurveda, like Ayurveda practice, Ayurveda education, Ayurveda spa industry, Ayurveda herbal extracts, and Ayurveda supplements and herbs. I have explained, and rest, Nitinji, my senior, is also here. He will also explain. And this is all, and if anybody has any question, please let me know. Thank you very much.
Excellent, sir. Excellent. You have covered almost all the aspects and sectors of Ayurveda and what can be the scope and what are the regulations. Excellent, sir. Very systematic and nice presentation. Really, I appreciate it. Thank you very much, sir. Now I would like to invite Dr. Nitin Shah, my senior in MD from Jamnagar, and he is speaker and teaches at various conferences, seminars, workshops at international and national level. Has shared his knowledge about Ayurveda in Canada, including Art of Living International, Quebec, Royal Ontario Museum, FACT, the Missionary Institute, Front, South Asian Festival, etc., etc., and provides online and telephone consultation on Ayurveda and consult pharmaceutical and nutraceutical industries for Ayurvedic pharmacotherapeutics, formulation, and herbal food supplement. Dr. Nitin Shah. Am I audible to you, sir?
Namaskaram. Good morning and good evening to everyone, because I know We have the audience from all over the world. Am I audible? I'm
Yes,
okay?
yes.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Pawanji. Thank you, Harishji. Harishji, you did an excellent job. You made my job easier. Uh, you have
Thank you.
covered most of the things about the scope and practice of Ayurveda. I'm here since more than 20 years, practicing and teaching here in Canada. There were many challenges, and along with me, my many other colleagues also work in a different ways how we can practice here. There are three main categories I would like to say. One is like Ayurvedic practices in sense of clinical practices. Second is teaching and education. And third is products. So Harish ji has explained in detail about all these three aspects, what we can do and what we cannot do. See, to practice Ayurveda and to practice Ayurvedic medicine, which are like both like the two sides of the same coin. To practice Ayurvedic medicine may be a little challenging, but to practice Ayurveda, there are no any regulations. Anybody can practice. Honestly, let me tell you, it's a very gray area. There is nothing like pure black or black pure white, and there is no proper rules and regulations, which Harishji already spoke about it. See, to teach and educate is the way, I think, to make an easier way of entry of Ayurveda here. And to practice Ayurveda, there were some issues 2 years back with about the heavy metals, even in the herbs or pure herbal products as well, which make little difficult to practice Ayurveda here. But with the renaissance of yoga, many people are interested. So if you ask me about the scope of practicing Ayurveda, I would say there is a high chances and scope. But the other part about the practices, there are some challenges. And yes, we try to uh, how to resolve these issues in a different ways, but still we are unable to find the proper way what we can do and what we cannot do. Harish ji has clearly explained about like those certain regulatory aspect. Uh, and you ask me a person of the name, her name is Sumedha Joglekar, and she is a BMS and she works with the Health Canada. But she is also very much about uncertainty about what we can do and what we cannot do. See, there are many ways to practice Ayurveda. First thing, like what we do in the other part of the world, or particularly in India, uh, to practice Ayurveda here without making any uh, claims. To make a claims, plus do not use the. I always tell my colleagues, those who ask me, don't use that word doctor, but yeah, establish yourself as a Vaidya. See, being a role of Vaidya, definitely we can practice Ayurveda. And the another important thing which I learned from over a time, instead of an alternative medication like as Harishji was saying about like DMARD, about disease modifying anti-rheumatic drugs like uh, biological agents and alternative to them, my choice is to incorporate Ayurvedic practices as complementary and integrative. And that's how people accept in a better way. And that's what my personal experience, how to practice Ayurveda in Canada here. The other thing, which are some of the treatments about wellness treatments. And as we all know, swasthasya swasthya rakshanam, many people are interested how to keep healthy, and those who are healthy, how to maintain and protect their health through our own wellness principles. That is another scope. Unfortunately, this has been not tapped a lot, but many people come to see me and to my colleagues to know about their constitution or prakriti, and from knowing the prakriti, how they can design or how they can choose the best options from every food group, so they can remain more in balance. That is another scope, and unfortunately it has been not tapped a lot, but I see that there is much more scope. The other thing, most of the diseases are psychosomatic, and as Harishji mentioned about the spa treatments, and there are many upscale spas, not only here in Ontario but in entire Canada, and they do incorporate some Ayurvedic treatments, not as a mainstream, but they do incorporate some of the Ayurvedic treatments, like as Harishji was saying about the registered massage therapist. They can incorporate Abhyangam, Shirodhara kind of treatments. And they are very much helpful for certain psychosomatic conditions. So that, which is the another scope. About the scope apart from this, about the products, uh, Health Canada has another department which is known as NHPD, Natural Health Product Department. There is a scope about the Ayurvedic products, but you have to prove the safety and efficacy. So there are certain guidelines from the NHPD. There are certain protocols you have to follow, and then definitely you can register your product and you can get the NPN number, similar as DIN, drug index number, and then you can use this product. But if you only want to sell this product on the shelf of the health food stores or any other way, but if you want to give the products to your clients, like to import the bulk herbs, there are not certain regulations, so yes, you can do that. So this is a little brief idea about it. Sorry, I don't have a presentation. I was just informed last minute this morning I'm going to attend this seminar, not as a participant but as a speaker, and I did not had a chance. I am just uh, came here, and this is my impromptu kind of speech here. Thank you, everyone. And yes, as Aristi said, if you still have any questions, yes, we are here, and we will do our best to answer your questions. Thank you again. Thank you, Pawanji.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We are really enlightened by your straightforward views. There is, for experts, there is no need to prepare anything. The knowledge is your treasure, and Ma Saraswati's blessings are with you, sir. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you very
Pawanji.
much. Thank you very much. So I would like to request now our third speaker from different aspects, but Rosemary Calvert is the founder and current executive director of Center for Better Life Foundation. Her professional experience is focused on strategic communications, advocacy and education, business development, publishing and marketing. She has spent more than 20 years as a federal consultant and contractor for both non-profits and for-profit organizations for health and well-being focus, sustainability and security. Ms. Calvert has worked with many US federal government senior leaders, military surgeons, Department of Defense. Prior to this, she had publishing and sales management position on more than 25 national and international magazines on trade, consumer, and custom publishing field. The area is quite different, so she can communicate her views, her observations in very nice manner. I hope for Ayurveda, for herbal, what is her views for scope of Ayurveda in Canada. Ms. Roji Calvert, I would like to welcome you on the dais. Am I audible to you, Ms. Roseberry? Ms. Rosemary ji, am I audible to you? Kindly unmute yourself. Madam Rosemary Calvert, kindly unmute yourself.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Welcome, madam, welcome.
Thank you. I kept on hitting the unmute, but it wouldn't work. I'm actually from the United States, and Saikat Basu asked me to prepare information on how I felt Ayurveda would be accepted by consumers in the United States. So this is more of that type of a presentation. And what I've done is divided into complementary and alternative medicine in the United States, naturopathy, nutraceuticals, what in the United States we call nutraceuticals, and what's going on in Ayurveda in the United States as far as the research is concerned. So the first point is that more Americans are seeking complementary and natural health products as they focus on wellness, prevention, and the whole person, just probably like everybody else in the world. According to a 2005 National Academies of Sciences research paper, approximately 1/3 of the United States, people in the United States use complementary and alternative health. And actually the numbers are much higher than that. They believe the numbers are underreported. The primary uses are for chronic conditions, and the average number of visits is 19 per year. It's used as an adjunct to conventional medicine or allopathic medicine, with 72% not telling their medical doctor. We'll go over the reasons about why in a few minutes. If you take a 1990 population extrapolation of those statistics, then there are more than 425 million visits for complementary and alternative medicine versus 388 million visits to medical doctors. So obviously complementary and alternative medicine is very better accepted in the United States than allopathic medicine is. In many instances, more than more than $14 billion, with 10.3 billion of that was paid out of pocket for complementary and medical care versus $12.88 billion out of pocket for U.S. hospitalization. So you can see that the out-of-pocket expenses by U.S. consumers is almost equal to the amount of out-of-pocket expenses for allopathic or regular medical hospitalizations. There was a 25% increase in 1997 for the use of complementary and alternative medicine, from 33% to 42%, and it continues to rise. And herbal remedies increased by 380%, high-dose vitamins by 130%, and complementary and medical providers or alternative medicine provider visits increased by 47.5% in 1997, from 427 million in 1990 to 629 million in 1997, which was more than all the primary care visits to the allopathic doctors, which was at 386 million at this point in history. The out-of-pocket for herbal products and high-dose vitamins is estimated to be $88 billion in the United States. And the out-of-pocket for complementary and alternative medicine exceeded out-of-pocket for all U.S. hospitalizations at $27 billion, which is about the same or a little more than the U.S. physicians, than all U.S. Physician services. As I had mentioned earlier, about 72% do not disclose to their doctor that they're using complementary and alternative medicine. One of the reasons is because they feel that it's none of their allopathic doctors. It's none of their business. Some are concerned about the disapproval of their allopathic doctors. I think a larger percentage, and certainly in this research, is the inability to give the doctors, the allopathic doctors, to understand alternative medicine, complementary and alternative medicine, and the ability to incorporate complementary and alternative medicine into their medical management plans. Complementary and alternative medicine increases with age, according to the National Health Institute survey. So obviously, the older people get in the United States, the more they use alternative medicine. And as I mentioned earlier, these numbers are underrepresentative of just even the current information that I've given you and the future use. So because a lot of people don't report it. As far as naturopathy is concerned, there's approximately 6,000 licensed naturopaths. I don't know if you're aware, but it's a 4-year professional level program accredited by the U.S. Department of Education. And then they have to pass a 2-part exam and meet state requirements for regulated professions. There are only 25 states out of the 50 states in the United States that have licensing regulating laws for naturopathy. And that also includes Puerto Rico and the District of Columbia and the Virgin Islands. There are other states that are pushing for regulations or bills are pending, and 11 states are totally unregulated as far as naturopathy. There's only 5 naturopathic schools in the United States. And as far as the naturopathists themselves, 75% are women, 34% held an advanced degree before they went into naturopathy, and the average graduation age is 32. Most work in a solo or group private practice versus any place else. The largest focus areas are digestive, GI disorders, nutrition, women's herbs, women's health, insomnia, fatigue, fibromyalgia, endocrinology, mental health, mind-body medicine, herbal medicine, and immune support. Obviously, they run the gamut, but those are the largest percentages that I picked the ones that were 40-some% and higher. 68% of naturopaths in the United States offer therapeutic nutrition, and the average salary in the United States is $96,000. There is, although, a somewhat current trend, minimal, but more so than it was, because there are 28 prominent health systems, hospitals, and cancer treatment centers that have 1 or more licensed naturopathic doctors on staff. So there is more of a tendency in the United States to get whole health care. I've done a lot of work with the military health system, and they actually, in my opinion, are more advanced on whole health care than the civilian healthcare system is. So they are looking for not just the doctors and the nurses, but the chiropractors, the acupuncturists, and naturopaths and other people on staffs to participate in patient care in the military. As far as nutraceuticals are concerned, just as was said before, and this is from a 2019 Research and Markets report, it's the same thing. They're food products that provide medical and health benefits like pre and probiotics, omega-3 fatty acids, vitamins, proteins, minerals, fibers, things of that nature. The 2018 nutraceutical market was $74 billion in the United States, expected to grow to $138 billion by 2027. The naturopathic market, or the nutraceutical market in the United States, is divided into functional food, functional beverage, dietary supplements, personal care, and pharmaceuticals. And the functional food is dominates due to the increased health consciousness and increased knowledge regarding the use of products. And the applications are divided according to general wellness, beauty and anti-aging, weight management, digestive health, sports and energy drinks, and general wellness. or the general wellness dominates. One of the key trends that's affecting the nutraceuticals in the United States is sports nutrition for athletic performance. So that has become very large and will become even larger. And I'm sure you probably know that the major players in nutraceuticals in the United States are Abbott, Chobani, General Mills, Helion Nutraceuticals, Kellogg, Nature's Bounty. Those are the larger ones. According to Pharmacy Times of a 2020 research, 77% of Americans use dietary supplements. 70% of adults age 60 or more use dietary supplements, and that's from the Council on Responsible Nutrition, the U.S. Council. 9 out of 10 Americans, according to the Council on Responsible Nutrition, 9 out of 10 Americans have some form of nutritional deficiency, with 8 out of 10 physicians recommending supplements for their patient use. And dietary and herbal supplements are primarily used for, in the United States, common cold, depression, special populations, drug-induced nutrient depletions, things of that nature. The International Journal of Preventive Medicine had a 2014 article talking about there are new concepts in the United States in nutraceuticals as alternatives to pharmaceuticals. And these areas are allergies, Alzheimer's disease, cardiovascular disease, cancer, diabetes, eye disorders, immune system inflammation, obesity, Parkinson's disease, and other miscellaneous complaints. So we are moving forward in the United States by comparison to where we were. As far as Ayurveda in the United States, approximately as of 2004, and these are all the latest statistics I could find, approximately 751,000 people have received Ayurvedic treatment. And again, these numbers are underrepresented. You may or may not be aware of the 2011 research study done by UCLA in India on the effects of, or the efficacy of Ayurveda in rheumatoid arthritis. And it was done by Dr. First from the David Geffen School of Medicine. And his comment was, there's a major push for study on Ayurveda in the United States. It will gain credibility. It will gain credibility if adequately tested and will be used more. And this particular test in 2000 that Dr. First did in 2011 was the first ever double-blind, randomized, placebo-controlled pilot study comparing Ayurveda to methotrexate and other combinations and their combination thereof. All 3 treatments were approximately equivalent in efficacy. Adverse events were numerically fewer in the Ayurveda only group. And the study demonstrates that, according to Dr. First, the study demonstrates that classic Ayurveda versus allopathic treatment can be studied in ways acceptable to Western standards and Ayurvedic physicians. It also justifies the need for larger studies. There is, you probably are aware, went through a U.S. component and National Medical Association that serves to protect from Ayurvedic philosophy through education and public policy. And then there were previous studies in the 1970s. You may be aware of the WHO study, the World Health Organization study in clinical trials by practitioners of Western medicine. They conducted a study in conjunction with the Ayurvedic Trust to test the efficacy of Ayurveda in patients with rheumatoid arthritis. And the study found treatments of Ayurveda in patients to be safe and effective in providing symptomatic relief of arthritis with no harmful side effects. But in the United States, such studies are few and far between. And you also probably know that as of 2016, the Indian Ministry of Ayush and the U.S. Health and Human Services, the Department of U.S. Health and Services, plus the National Institutes of Health, National Cancer Institute, and several U.S. academic institutions have been facilitating engagements to promote collaboration, research, and develop evidence-based guidelines to integrate Ayush system with modern medicine. And this was last revised in 2020, so this is still current. In 2019, there was a memorandum of understanding with Spalding Rehab Hospital, which is a very well-known rehab hospital and very well regarded in the United States, to demonstrate the efficacy of Ayurveda products to alleviate problems associated with osteoporosis, osteoarthritis, and degenerative joint disease. And overall, based on the presentations I've heard, what I've found is similar in the United States as far as acceptance. There was a concern about metals, heavy metals, the actual products themselves having a standardization of that. In this country, allopathic medicines or medical physicians are generally not treated alternative care. They're generally not supportive of alternative care. So that's why the consumers themselves are pushing alternative care in the United States. It's not the allopathic physicians that are pushing alternative care in the United States. Thank you for your time.
Excellent, madam. Nice analytical lecture. Very excellent. Excellent data. You have combined excellent data. No doubt it will definitely indicate very positive aspects whether Americans are using Ayurvedic in their life or not. Definitely. I thank you very much for your nice analytical presentation. Excellent, informative presentation.
I think
Thank
Ayurveda will be accepted in a large way. The people that I talk to, as far as consumers are concerned, most of them are not aware of Ayurveda. And for any of the practitioners that I've talked to, obviously they've heard of Ayurveda, but they have not been involved in it at all, unlike naturopathy or other types of alternative care.
But it should be clear message to the society also from Ayurvedic person that we are here. No doubt. No doubt. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So I would like to welcome Dr. Sweta Vaidya. Sweta also from Canada, Ontario, Ayurvedic Wellness and Holistic. She is PhD from NIA. After our next speaker, Dr. Sekat Kumar Basu, we will invite her for her views on Canada situation. So now I would like to request Dr. Sekat Kumar Basu, my friend here in India, who has introduced me with Madam Rosemary. Thank you, Madam. Sekat Kumar Basu did his 2 masters in botany, microbiology from India, Calcutta, and agricultural studies from University of Lethbridge, Canada. He is serving as Executive Research Director, Performance Seed, Lethbridge, Alberta, Canada. So main area of the research is the commercial production of medicinal plants, forage crop quality production, pollinator conservation, and ecosystem regeneration. I would like to welcome Dr. Sekat Kumar Basu from Canada, Alberta. Dr. Sekat Kumar Basu. Am I audible to you, sir?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Welcome. Yes. After you, please, I would like to request Dr. Sweta. Please, Dr. Sekat Kumar Basu, kindly proceed. You are clear and loud.
Okay. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be on this platform once again. Thanks to invitation, Dr. Pavan Sharma and also Vishnu Pradhan Sharma. Thank you so much for your initiatives in making this a big success and working across the continent to see the application and implementation of Ayurvedic medication. Although I'm not an Ayurvedic doctor, I'm more a plant researcher who deals with medicinal plant research and ecosystem regeneration. But nonetheless, I am very passionate about Ayurvedic medication and formulations. And that's how I have been coming to this platform quite time and again to encourage the organization and your society to move forward. We had excellent engagement today, and I'm not going to repeat the same things as 2 of these nice erudite lectures that we had from Canada, which they have covered regarding the regulation and the process and the steps and other the challenges. I am going to highlight more on like a broader perspective of Ayurvedic medication. Now, there are three systems of traditional medication that you will see as popular in the Western world. And one is the Chinese traditional system of medicine. Then there is the Tibetan traditional system of medicine, which is coming up pretty fast. It's because of the strong support of various Buddhist groups in promoting these medicational practices. I mean, not to the scale of Chinese traditional medicine, but it's still coming up. And then we have our own Ayurveda. Now, one of the few challenges that I see for Ayurvedic practices is because this concept is, I mean, there is a general interest and there is a large number of health products, nutraceuticals and functional food products that are very, very popular in Western countries, including United States and Canada, and particularly in Canada a lot. But nonetheless, at the same time, there are concerns from the regulatory agencies in Canada about the quality of the products being, being exported into the country. Not all companies, but there has been in the past few companies, particularly because I work and deal with agricultural sectors, whether it's medicinal products or it's marine products or other associated plant product related stuff. There has been cases of pesticide contamination in the products that has been transferred to Canada. There has been contamination of fungal and bacterial pathogens, sometimes not just in food, but other plant materials too. And it was just a case of, post-harvest management, which I fail to realize that 70 years after independence and with so much qualitative progress that India has made, why not the quality control has been made stringent in the country, particularly when you are exporting products to the Western countries. Now, once in a while, you may have a shipment rejected, say of plant medicinal properties and of medicinal plants or other related health-related products from a country. And then you continue your business and stuff. But what it creates is that it goes to the press. It goes to the press release from the regulatory agencies of Canada, and they will talk about like this product came from India and we have rejected, blah, blah, blah. It creates a sense of fear among the public, who are your great consumers, right? So like just for one or two companies not being diligent enough to maintain a quality control, proper quality control in sending products, it not only damages the potential of nutraceutical and functional food products industry to emerge in Canada, particularly in ties with India, but at the same time, it paints a negative image of Ayurvedic practices too, in the sense that maybe what we are going to try may result in an allergy, or like we do not know, it may have some strong side effects, but at the same time, there is a strong interest. So what I find as a scientist is a gap between public interest and the proper education and awareness about Ayurvedic medication and formulation. Like, I do not expect that over next 20 years, Ayurveda will be a premier medical branch or a system that will be operational in Western countries, particularly in Canada and America. But nonetheless, there is huge demand of nutraceutical and functional products, many of which are Ayurvedic and has strong health benefit. But people are not aware of this in a significant way, that they get influenced by the press. Now, this is where I have told the High Commission in Canada a number of times that they need to like work a little bit more. Like, I have been here for a long time, like before 20 years, the High Commission in Canada was like a silent, like a silent temple sitting there doing really not much of an work and activity other than some Indo-Canadian cultural programs. But now with time, with change in governments and stuff, I do see that there is a change in the working operations of the Indian High Commission, and they have been taking steps towards promoting Indian products. Particularly, they need to have these fairs or these programs that highlights Ayurvedic medication practices, bringing experts from India to talk to the audience, to the press, so that people get to know it much better. In the Western mind, before a private company from a different or alien country talks, they would like to listen what the government of that country has to say. And Indian government needs to take a stronger step in promoting Ayurvedic products. Say, for example, even a few years yoga was popular, but it was not as popular as it has become. It's because the government of India has taken a global initiative. All the embassies and high commissions are having programs. They're running, workshops, everything on yoga, and it has become a part of life. Like, if you now visit any of the healthcare gymnasiums and stuff across the continent, you will find they will definitely have yoga as a component. Indian culture has become very popular. Like 20 years back, you won't be having seeing much of Indian cultural programs in Western dance programs and stuff. Now, if you visit any dance school in Canada, United States, you will see that the Bollywood dancing is a very, very popular form of cultural dancing that people have adopted in these countries. So same goes for Ayurveda. It's just the popularity. You need to bring in the faces. The government need to make some investment and step in and help, and also provide a strong quality control for products coming into the country. Because once you stamp your name in dark ink, it takes ages to get rid of that. I am pretty critical on this because I think India has a huge potential, huge talent base, to just not neglify these small errors that are happening over time, and took to this initiative. Is like, it's not just a company's profit. Like when a big company say is exporting a huge amount of material to Canada, it's just not Canada buying the stuff from that particular company. It builds economy on both sides. So both sides needs to be responsible, and particularly when you are handing out the material, I think you carry an extra responsibility and sensitivity to make sure that your products are being transferred, that are being sold, are not adulterated. You maintain a quality control, and with the laboratory facilities in India, this is very simple, and it's not at all super expensive. I consider this to be a negligence or an attitude which has not grown through our primary, secondary, and tertiary education system, where we usually believe in quantity, not in quality. I'll share one more example how like the scientific exploration of any particular approach helps in building up for the Ayurveda movement, that I would call it, as it is happening in Western countries, is how much publishable papers or publications do you have from reputed journals on a particular product. That influences a lot of doctors to change their attitude. If you go to a doctor right now in US or Canada, they are all aware of Ayurvedic system of medicine, traditional Chinese system of medicine, but they're afraid of prescribing things. Is because like the health system in Canada is it's a socialist country in the sense that the entire health is supported by the government. So they are afraid of going beyond the drugs and prescribing a foreign drug on their prescription pad, which if found detrimental in the long run may hamper their career. There is always that fear. But say, for example, 20 years back when I was a student and I used to work on fenugreek, the crop like the methi that is so popular here, it was we were trying to introduce it as a new forage crop for the animals because seeds and leaves have galactagogue effect and it builds up muscles and whatnot. But at the same time, we have been working towards promoting fenugreek through all conferences, poster presentations, seminars, colloquium, workshops, wherever we could, to promote the crop as a traditional medicinal crop. It's a spice crop, aromatic plant, as also a spice crop and a forage crop for this particular country. Now, over these 20 years, we had 30 to 35 now papers published in various journals across US, Canada, and Europe, along with other continents and stuff. Now, if you are visiting US, if you are visiting Canada, you will see that if you go to a drugstore or a pharmacy store, you will find that there are fenugreek formulations. Being a galactose, it's being prescribed by doctors on their prescription pad for a health booster, or it's a health enhancer or a galactagogue for pregnant women. 15 years back, this was impossible. Like you won't be seeing anything that relates to these particular tablets that would be available. But now there are various companies in Canada and United States that are making formulations which are fenugreek seed combined into capsules and are being used. Like in our traditional dairy systems, if you go to Rajasthan, Gujarat, and other parts of Western and Northern India, you will see that they use, or even in Tamil Nadu, I've seen they used to feed the seeds of fenugreek to the pregnant cows just before giving birth and to the lactating animals because it increases their milk flow as a galactagogue. And we have been promoting this. There is a lot of research on that production, safety and quality control methods and stuff. And once this is available in the public domain, it totally changes the perspective of a Western doctor or an allopathic doctor who was a little bit, prohibitive about using these products, has been openly suggesting these kind of formulations now, which you can buy even off the shelf without a prescription too, because these are health supplements, just like castor oil and other products and stuff. And so it's building up. Now, to break that bridge is not easy because it's a different system. Some people ask me, how come traditional Chinese medicine is still quite popular comparison to Ayurvedic medication? I would feel this. I feel it in this way that Chinese traditional medicine or the Chinese communities have been in the continent of North America for a much longer time compared to the Indian communities is because they have been there being expatriated as cheap laborers during the railway time when huge constructions were going on, and they were not treated well. But nonetheless, these communities were there, like in Western Canada or in parts of the United States. They have been there for such a long time that their culture, their medication, their food, their habit has been imbibed into the society. It's possibly 300-400 years. Compared to that, the Indian presence has been comparatively recent, with respect, comparatively recent in the sense that with Indian nationals or Canadian nationals with Indian heritage being introduced into the Canadian Parliament and stuff has been, it's a fairly recent phenomenon. You will see of people of Indian origin coming into the Congress, India, US Congress is still a fairly recent time. So because comparatively they have been there for a much longer time, this is much way more well known to the communities, but I don't see this as anything negative. Everything takes time to build up. Everything cannot happen overnight, and I believe nothing can happen overnight. This has to be taken a systematic approach, and I sincerely believe that the government can play a significant, important part in that. Particularly, high commissions need to employ researchers like who will do market research and see the demands for Ayurvedic formulation, medications, because all this helps in the economy of India as well as the buying country and makes this thing popular, as well as making Ayurvedic conferences and stuff or through the high commissions down in here or the embassy in the United States makes it more popular. I will just finish my presentation with one more just little touch from the same continent is Mexico and other South American countries. Like, North America is two major white countries, big countries like Canada and United States, but we also have a Mexico, which is a developing nation, and in a more similar scenario pattern as in will be case of India. I have been in Mexico and I've traveled extensively, and I have found tons of Ayurvedic formulations in the shelves of many Mexican pharmacy stores, and these are all available without prescriptions. Mexico as a country has regulations, but it is not as stringent as you'd expect in European Union, Canada, or United States. So this opens up opportunities because and a significant part of Mexican population being of First Nation, Aboriginal, or tribal origin of that country has a strong faith for traditional medication. They usually use a lot of animal and plant products for the purpose of healthcare rather than going for allopathic medication. There is allopathic medication in big cities like in the Mexico City and other places, but at the same time, there is a lot of traditional, just like in China. They love more their traditional medication way more than Western medicines. And I have seen that there is a huge influx of Indian products. Many of them are like, in the rural areas, I saw that they're even selling them with expiry dates off, like they are expired a long time back. They're still being sold, but nonetheless, which is not acceptable. But at the same time, because of the lack of stringent regulation in these countries, particularly Brazil has, I think, as far as I remember, recognizes a formal form of medical care and system in that particular country. So Latin America, South America, Central America also has huge markets for government to work through and help Indian companies to build up their areas. Like these are less known countries to India, like Uruguay, Paraguay, Bolivia, Argentina, or like Mexico, Costa Rica and other places. But there has been influx of Indian population, Indian businessmen, Indian tourists coming to this country. Several professionals are settling down. So it's opening up a new vista of need for Indian culture, tradition, as well as Ayurvedic medication in the same time. So I think this is no loss. This is just the beginning. We are at the, this is just like the tip that we have touched to do. And if we all from the communities work together on a common platform in promoting this, as we have been trying to highlight, Dr. Sharma and has been trying to coming together and bringing perspectives from various countries, continents to highlight where Ayurveda stands. I think this is also a very significant, important work in the sense that we need to feel or sense how Ayurveda is faring in different countries and culture. My observation has been that it is more popular in developing and underdeveloped nations compared to highly developed industrial nations, because of stringent control and also sometimes negative press that Ayurvedic product gets, fortunately, unfortunately. But it's not the end. It's still a long way to go, but I still feel that with the engagement that we are seeing in the Western world, particularly in Canada, there is huge interest. If Ayurvedic medication does not become fully available in the few years, health products, Ayurvedic health products, nutraceutical and functional products, immediately has a great future. But to understand the demand of a particular country, the High Commission needs to do research, like what kind of products, what kind of stringent control, what kind of quality control Canada is looking for, United States is looking for. You have to export or import based on those things. Like these things are a bit lacking in our system, but as time goes on and the government makes the embassy people a bit more responsible, it's just not diplomatic ties. We need to build business, we need to build cultural ties, and these helps in building the diplomatic ties in the long run. So they need to work on this. I have been advocating this for a quite long time, and I've been also advocating for an international Ayurveda Day to be declared by the United Nations. I would request everyone who is participating to join me in this platform. Well, we will be collecting signatures to get to the government of India to push to the United Nations for an international day of Ayurvedic medication for popularizing this concept, and hopefully with all our efforts and failures together, we will make a difference in the long run. Once again, thank you so much for your time and patient hearing. And if you have any questions and queries, you can email me. I'll leave my email on your Dropbox, like particularly for the comment section. If anyone has any question, I'll be happy to answer. If anyone wants to reach me a little later, my email and phone numbers and WhatsApp number will be available with Dr. Pavin Sharma. You are more than welcome to contact me. And thank you once again for giving us this opportunity to share our views, thoughts, and making it an open platform.
Very nice.
I am honored. Thank you.
Excellent, Dr. Basu. Excellent. Nice tempo in very fast pace. Excellent.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now I would like to request Beth Sweta from Ontario, Canada. Though she was not on the flyer, but I came to know with my Dr. Alok Sharma ji that she is here, and I am very much fortunate to have her on this platform. Dr. Beth Sweta ji, am I audible to you? She is PhD from NIA and now in Canada. Beth Sweta ji. Is Beth Sweta ji is here? I don't know. Some technical problem was there. Is there? She is not here. So I would like to request Professor Madan Thangvelu sir to bless us with his observation on the session today.
Namaskar. Thank you, Pavanji. Thank you, Bishnuji. And thanks to all of you from the strong house in Calcutta. I call this the big team in Calcutta who are coordinating a global effort to take Ayurveda. Over the last few days, we had presentations from the United Kingdom. We had presentations from New Zealand, Australia. And in all of these, we see some common themes coming out. And I think if it wasn't for these kind of gatherings, we wouldn't see those commonalities coming out. And the most important commonality in all of this is that people locally, when we look at the local use of Ayurveda and the thinking, we find a lot of people who are promoting Ayurveda. Yesterday, we had a wonderful presentation by Alicia Kay, who's from Perth. And Alicia gives us the same feeling that some of our presenters gave us today, which is that there are aspects of Ayurveda that can go into health promotion, health maintenance, and aspects of disease prevention. And that is a domain that seems to be more friendly with the health-seeking part of the community. And that number is increasing. So we had Harish ji presenting about this. We had other speakers talking about it. And I feel that is one area where we need to strengthen our position. Ayurveda needs to be shown as how it helps promote health and it helps prevent disease. Rosemary touched on this very nicely. Rosemary, thank you so much for raising this. You, of course, gave us many, many points, but that one point that you offered us is about the preference for holistic health, or the term that you used for in the military establishments. And it's a very important thing that you've highlighted, and thank you so much for raising this, because when we look at the military university in Bethesda, we find Indian professors, researchers who have been working there, and one in particular, he's no more, he was professor of pathology there. And he worked on something, on a formulation, Brahma Rasayana. It's a very potent Rasayana formulation. And his work was to do with cancer and the use of Brahma Rasayana in an animal model to show how it actually prevents metastasis in cancer. Unfortunately, he's no more, but he's still held in very high regard in the military academy, the military university. And so there are threads like this that are out there. The challenge for us as a community, as shown here by Pavanji and Vishnu Prasadji, is to bring those threads together to make the yarn for taking us to the next stage in weaving the fabric. We are far from even seeing that fabric completely. So one of the points I raised earlier was how Ayurveda might go in more readily into the Commonwealth of Nations. So Canada being one is a very important player in this space. So your messages that you gave us today, I've copied some over onto the chat box, which is a precious reference point for us. Thanks to Harish ji for highlighting all those technicalities and rules and regulations that you have to follow to bring some of these things to standard use in Canada. And hopefully from Canada, we will have lessons that will be shared with Australia and New Zealand and all of the 53 nations of the Commonwealth. There is a big interest here in the UK in terms of how Ayurveda is appreciated. There's an ongoing study between the All India Institute of Ayurveda in New Delhi and the London School for Tropical Medicine. And it's to do with one of the herbs, ashwagandha. So there are things happening. And I think if we share this information across to all of the people who are engaging in these platforms, then the common understanding increases. And that brings a kind of cohesion into the position that the governments want to take. And the point that was made that the government, our last speaker mentioned about why governments hesitate in going into this space, that needs to be looked at closely. And maybe when we bring more of these kind of dialogues and share information across partners, then the governments feel a little more confident that a similar dialogue is happening elsewhere. And maybe that is one of the few steps. I particularly want to thank Rosemary for highlighting many, you've had wonderful statistics in your presentation. These are things that are not only for America, this is also in Europe. In Europe, we have a big umbrella organization called Eurocam. It's the umbrella organization for all the CAM modalities. And the same figures that you quoted is also here for 500 million, of approximately 500 million people across Europe. But somehow it's very difficult to get policy makers to recognize this. And there is a challenge here. And that challenge is a difficult one. I don't know how we will handle this. In the UK, we are doing this in the form of an all-party parliamentary group for Indian traditional sciences. So we have an organization that brings together politicians, the members of the parliament from all the parties who are believers in the need for this, promoting the systems of medicine. I don't know if there is something like this in Canada where the parliament offers an opportunity for bring bringing people together from different parties and to voice your opinion in Parliament. We gather in Parliament. Most times we have the freedom to use the largest committee room in Westminster Palace in London. And in most of our gatherings, the room has no seating space. It is so full. It just shows the public opinion is behind this thing. But somehow we are not phrasing our demands for policy change correctly. And maybe people like Rosemary, Harish ji, and others here will help us rethink that space and make that dialogue happen. So these are my comments. I urge you to review the previous webinars, which are all archived in the Society webpage. I'll share the link here, and particularly to see the presentations from Canada and Austria, from Australia and New Zealand and UK, just to get a feel for where the field is, so that we can have some kind of coherence in where we want to go next. Pavanji and the team will be taking us to other parts of Europe over the next few days, into other locations in Europe. We won't see anything different. It'll be the same sentiments being shared, and which is a good thing. It's a benchmark for where we are and where we need to go. So thank you so much for giving me the chance to just make these observations. And Pavanji, thank you. Harishji, thank you. And Rosemary, Harishji, everybody, thank you so much for this wonderful set of presentations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your blessings. Thank you. Nice observation. Now I would like to introduce two experts from Bangladesh. They are joined. We are very much fortunate. Madam Nilofar Naharji. She joined just from the beginning. I would like to request her for her observation for the session in 5 minutes. Kindly unmute yourself. And Madam Nilofar Naharji, am I audible to you? And then Professor Shoaibji. Professor Shoaibji is also with us. So what is your observation, madam? This is our question. Madam Nilofar Naharji.
Okay, thank you. Actually, I am Professor Dr. Shoaib. I just try to contact with Professor Nilofar Nahar, madam. She is
right, welcome. We need your observation too.
Yes. Well, this is my first time I am joining to this event, although it is quite, for many days you are doing this activity, and from this program I heard that last couple of years days from different countries, and today I was able to hear 4 different presentation, and it was very good. I learned many things. As we know, Ayurvedic product we are using for many years in Bangladesh, and there are many good companies, like you may have heard Hamdard and some other companies. But knowledge from this scientific enrich, our knowledge from this presentation. And I have some questions. Can I do just 1 or 2 questions to Dr. Boshu? He presented, and Ms. Kelbert. How many people are using in Canada and US? The percentage, just general percentage use of Ayurvedic product in Canada and USA. Is it possible to? Hello?
Definitely your question will be answered. Definitely. Sakat ji, Mr. Sakat Kumar Basu or Miss Rosemary Calvert. Would you like to answer the question of Professor M. Shoaib?
Yes. As far as the latest research I could find, there were 751,000 that had received Ayurvedic treatment as of 2004, and that's the National Center for Health Statistics figure. Like I said, Ayurveda is not that well known in the United States, and the things that Sakat Basu brought up, I think, are very important in the United States, because there's a lot of material even in a lot of the federal agencies talking about metals in some of the herbs, you know, and things of that nature, even in the Mayo Clinic. So I think they're concentrating more in the United States on the physical substances versus the metaphysical aspects of Ayurveda. So I think that, and that's obviously comes from allopathic medicine, that they concentrate on, you know, the physical things and pharmaceuticals and things like that. So in the meantime, there might be a big opportunity to do more with Ayurveda on as a, not really a lifestyle, but more of a holistic care component versus just taking something. Because the United States, most consumers are just used to, have been driven by the medical establishment to just take a pharmaceutical, you know, take a drug. So obviously there's yoga and things of that nature, but usually the yoga is not necessarily a cohesive part of a total wellness program with eating and everything else. It's usually in health facilities, so it's not not necessarily a well-being item. It's a wellness item, and in the United States, wellness is something that your doctor does or is exercise, but well-being in the United States is described as the whole person component of health or well-being.
Thank you. Excellent. Excellent, madam. Nicely
Thank you.
answered. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Professor Shoaib, for asking question also. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very
Now
much.
I would like
Yeah.
to request Professor Dr. Naveen Joshi, founder of Ayush Darpan Foundation, to say a few words on the session.
Thank you. Pavan Sharma ji.
I will request him after Naveen Joshi ji.
Okay.
Thank you, Vaidya Pavan Sharma ji, for very nicely organizing these programs continuously. I am just appreciating your efforts and to bring so many fraternity of different countries as well as the different experts in the same platform. And as you know that Ayush Darpan is also supporting your this great work, as we are just broadcasting the same program next day on Ayush Darpan Journal Facebook page. And there is a very big audience in that Facebook page. Approximately 40,000 doctors across the globe are on that Facebook page, as well as I'm also trying to same broadcast the YouTube also, in which 20,000 approximately doctors, actively clinicians are participating. And these lectures continuously you are broadcasting, in which the Canada as well as the previously the New Zealand and the scope of Ayurveda in UK as well as the USA. These things will also give some knowledge about the condition, actual condition in these countries. So I am thankful to you, and hopefully another program which we are running related to the clinical research, and that is very important program. So many posts. I'm working in a university as an associate professor, so I know that the postgraduate level, the clinical research is a very important subject, and I appreciate the Independent Research Ethics Society's work continuously organizing a series of lectures in clinical research. So thank you, Vaidya Pavan Kumar Sharma ji, and thank you, Vishnu Prasad Sharma ji, and here all the dignitaries. I know Dr. Harish Verma ji as well as Dr. Madan Thangavelu and many of the experts here. So thank you, sir.
Thank you, Naveen ji. Thank you. You are my valuable friend and companion. Welcome. So now I would like to request Madam Nilofar Naharji. Kindly unmute yourself, Madam. Madam Nilofar Naharji. Yes.
Namaskar and good evening to all of you, and the Canadian, honorable Canadian speakers and guests. Good morning to you, all of you. The thing is that I'm very happy to attend this sort of webinar. It's very excellent. The speakers did so much nice presentation, and all of them give a very good picture of this, the importance and the uses and etc. of the Ayurveda medicine. And Rosemary gave the real picture in the United States. I have been many times in United States over the counter. One of the important thing is the health care. You see, under something health means does not the drug. There's difference between drug and the Ayurveda. Drug means a single drug which has a lot of toxicity. People are afraid of that. But when it comes to the Ayurveda or any herbal products, and this is available in the over the counter, and there's very advantage of the people to get the over the counter and not so much prescription necessary, and they found the benefit of them and communicating from person to person, woman to woman, especially about the healthcare, woman to woman, and like the arthritis and other diseases you have mentioned. There are many other diseases. People are leaving behind the some sort of allopathic, avoiding and taking the Ayurvedic or the medicinal, the herbal medicine or whatever, the integrated or complementary medicine. Even in the case of cancer, the people are so much about the chemotherapy and fed up, and there's no hope. So this sort of medicine is the last hope, or they're feeling this much better. Life is longer, and not only here, also in United States, but also the Europe, Germany. I have seen. Even my daughter didn't get any medicine when she was pregnant, allopathic medicine, only the herbal medicine prescribed by the allopathic doctor. So there's a lot of big scope for the development of this medicine, as the medicine is natural medicine. And I believe that the human body is a natural biological system, and there's more affinity to biological products or compound rather than the synthetic or a single compound. And if I say like the vitamin C, I feel that my body is vitamin C is more acceptable from the orange rather than the vitamin C is taking the tablet. So something like that. So all kinds of the natural products is contains so many constituents, the chemical constituents, the diverse kinds of chemical constituents, and these are helpful for the health. And these help, as I mentioned right now, there's a biological system in our body. This has more affinity to biological system, and it picked up their necessity one. So when I take a food, my body takes vitamin B or vitamin D1 or minerals what I need, and other one things is rejected. So this is the kind of food, food adjunct of etc. That is not so toxic, and in that case, it's very useful. And all the speaker gives so nice talk, and I'm amazed, and I'm very happy, and is my knowledge, and I thank you all of you for nice presentation, and Professor Sharma for inviting me, and Vishnupada Sharma and Sharma also, and Rose, all the speakers. My heartfelt congratulations to all of you. I have learned a lot, and I hope to learn more. And thank you. Thank you very much. I have some problem in the maid problem, in the home. So I'm coming and going. You see, they're living there. There's a little bit problem. So
Thank you. Very nice blessings.
And I'm really grateful to you for invitation and for allowing me to talk a few words. And I'm aware I met so many people here. I'm so amazed and so happy. Thank you so much. And namaskar.
Thank you, madam. Namaskar.
And I'd like to leave you. So excuse me.
I would like to, before inviting Dr. Vishnu Prasad Sharma ji for concluding remarks, I would like to invite for tomorrow's webinar, 2 webinars, one at 2 p.m. IST for good clinical practices, Ayurveda, protocol and study design, and from 4 p.m. a unique subject on World Handloom Day, natural cloths with herbal touch. All clothes experts will be guiding us what they have invented for Ayurvedic or herbal cloths. That is also a new area of industry as well as society. So I would like to request Dr. Vishnu Prasad Sharma ji for his concluding remarks. Welcome, sir.
Okay, thank you. Namaskar. Respected Professor Dr. Nilufar Nahar, respected Professor Dr. Madan Thangavalu, respected Dr. Alok Kumar Sarmaji, respected Professor Dr. Mohammad Swaib, respected Dr. Naveen Joshi, respected today's inaugurator Bhaidya Harish Kumar Parma, dear distinguished speakers and learned audience. It was a pleasure listening to such insightful talk on Ayurveda scope and practice in Canada from eminent speaker. Therefore, today's talk on Ayurveda scope and practice in Canada was significant. So first of all, I want to offer my sincere thanks to Dr. Harish Kumar Parma for innovating today's webinar. He delivered a talk on scope and practice in Canada, and he nicely described regarding Ayurvedic clinics and consultation, Ayurvedic education, Ayurvedic spa industry, herbal and extract, Ayurveda herbs and supplement. He told Ayurveda is a complete science. He nicely described why do people turn to Ayurvedic treatment. Again, he vividly described regarding health, Canada policy regulating regarding natural health product regulation. So thank you, Dr. Boddo Harish Kumar Parma, for inaugurating today's function and excellent presentation. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Next, I would like to offer my sincere thanks to Dr. Nitin Shah for his excellent talk. He told that he practiced more than 30 years, practice Ayurveda, no regulation is required, practice Ayurvedic medicine is a challenge. He said, practice Ayurveda high scope in Canada. Regarding property, have more scope to find out the property and what type of diet and what type of medicine patient has to consume. Such type of scope is more there. And regarding, he gives stress regarding psychosomatic disease treatment, scope is more there. So thank you, Dr. Nitin Shah, for wonderful presentation. Now I would like to offer my sincere thanks to Miss Rosemary Calvert for excellent deliberation of talk. She said Ayurvedic medicine is accepted US. Herbal medicine demand is also increases. So thank you, Madam Miss Rosemary, for your excellent talk. Next, I would like to offer my sincere thanks to Dr. Saikat Kumar Basu. He said, yes, nowadays Tibetan traditional medicine, Chinese traditional medicine, and Ayurvedic traditional medicine has increases all over the world. In Canada also, Tibetan and Chinese is grow up more. He gives stress regarding proper quality control of the medicine. He explained some of the problem for prescribed medicine. So thank you, Dr. Saikat Kumar Basu, for your wonderful presentation. And I offer my sincere thanks to Professor Nilufar Nahar, Professor Dr. Madan Thangavalu, Alok Kumar Sharmaji, and Professor Dr. Mohammad Sweb for joining this meeting, and offer my sincere thanks to Dr. Pawan Kumar Sharmaji for organizing such a wonderful webinar. So thank you to all. Namaskar.
Please support us by communicating resources in other countries. If we have 3 speakers in a country, we definitely organize such type of global Ayush series. My WhatsApp number is given on chat box. Please, please support. Please support this holy mission. We have planned to conduct minimum 50 countries in these 2 months. Please support by communication. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Good night
Okay,
for
thank you from
Indians
my side.
and have a good day for Canadians. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Namaskar to everybody.